Good afternoon, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day and God bless you. Let's get into the news. And I know Liz Cheney is absolutely quaking, scared, panicking. You fill in the word. She is doing it right now because her primary's coming up. And the people of this country have already expelled every single person who has been on the ballot who voted to impeach Trump has been lost. They've lost their primaries, and now Liz Cheney isn't a target, and with the massive crowds, Trump is still bringing in this isn't 2016 crowds. My friend, these are huge crowds. They're the size of 2016 crowds, and she should be panicking because of what the momentum is coming. She doesn't have a chance. She had to roll out her old man out there, the most unlikable person. Somehow Democrats absolutely loved Dick Cheney. All of a sudden, the same warmonger who cost 1,000s of lives of American troops and hundreds of 1,000s of lives of civilians in Iraq and other places as their bloodthirsty war-mongering money machine had to be continued to be fed. Of course, Liz Cheney is now looking forward to vote in the Wyoming people, and they don't look like they're going to. This is a rich recent rally in the state of Wisconsin, and the excitement, it's all over the country for President Trump. People want him back, and they want people who are going to support this agenda. And it says, no, this isn't a photo from 2016 Trump rally. It's from last night in Wisconsin. Take a look at this massive crowd. They're for Trump, of course, right? Can you imagine being Liz Cheney or Joe Biden right now, seeing photos from Trump's Waukesha, Wisconsin rally last night? It looked like a Lollapalooza, for crying out loud. The crowd was massive. I actually don't know if Joe has the mental capacity left to even understand what's happening, but his team can see the writing on the wall. Liz Cheney knows exactly what's happening. All of her tireless work, trying to destroy President Trump, has been for nothing. He's more popular than ever, and the only thing she actually destroyed was her own career. The irony is just so sweet and delicious. Last night's rally was huge. It looks like the old 2016 days, maybe even bigger. President Trump's popularity and support has grown over the past year since Biden was installed into the White House and has made a complete and total mess of literally everything he touches. Yes. Take a look at this. Massive crowds. Trump giving another rally, this one in Wisconsin. Virtually no media and a sparse crowd of magnet supporters turned out wrong. Wrong, still lying. Right? This is out of the mainstream cover. This right here is the crowd that showed up. Huge crowds showing up for Trump. And of course, official Trump rally watch party at CPAC cheers as President Trump takes stage at his rally in Wisconsin. Love it. Love it. Huge rally was a huge hit, and many supporters saying it was among Trump's best ever. Trump's dancing off the stage, and what Cousteau was constant after the best Save America rally I've heard was just thrilling. His energy is magnetic, and I guess he is magnetic. Yeah, so fantastic. They would be apt. They're scared. People like Liz Cheney is absolutely terrified of what's coming. They know they've tried to pull out all the stops. For people like Liz Cheney, Dave Weil got Democrats out there stumping for her. They got a Hollywood out there stumping for her. They have a war-mongering, bloodthirsty father out there stumping for her, and nothing's working. The people of Wyoming are tired of Liz Cheney, and they're about to send her packing, which her primary is coming up in just 12 days, 10 days I believe it is, right around the corner in Wyoming. So Liz Cheney, get your suitcases ready, because you will be moving out of the state of Wyoming and back to your home in the swamp. And the left, and especially the mainstream media left, are always going on about diversity and inclusion and of course tolerance. What they really mean is inclusion and tolerance of everybody except for Trump supporters. They constantly use the word, but they don't seem to know what the definition of the word bigot really means. The word bigot is described as being intolerant to different people with different cultures and different viewpoints. And that word right there is the perfect definition of the modern elitist left, and the most insulting part is their bipartisan scam that we're always seeing, very similar to Nancy's bipartisan scam from the January 6th Commission. There's two Republicans on the panel therefore, and of course, those two Republicans happen to be never Trumper rhinos. In other words, everybody gets a view as long as they're anti-Trump these days, at least culturally the most discriminated against individual or group of people. Is anybody even remotely associated with the America First new conservative age? It's of course something that we've been talking about with all the Republican primary elections over the last couple of months, and especially with the Kari Lake primary election just this week, but that's the concept that I want to focus on for this video. The discrimination that patriotic American First conservatives are constantly facing, especially in the cultural world, and I want to use The View as the prime example. Of course, ABC is The View with Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, horrid Sunny Austin, who continue to run the same scam pretending that they're fair and unbiased, giving Republicans a voice by bringing on total fake hack Republicans that don't represent the conservative base whatsoever. The only person in American culture who faces discrimination who doesn't have a voice is you, and that's the topic that I want to cover in this video. We got some stuff to get into. So let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so the scam at The View continues. Whoopi Goldberg made the announcement just the other day. We always want to honor Barbara Walters' original version and vision that different views are represented at this table. Okay. Series. And then of course, The View announces to brand new co-hosts, people who are being brought on full-time, and guess who it is? Ana Navarro and Alyssa Farah Griffin. There it is, folks. The View was officially bipartisan and Republicans have their voice in the mainstream media. No more complaining about conservative bias. Just like with the January 6th trial, quit complaining, bigot. Trump has his defense. The other side is represented fully. This is totally bipartisan with Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney representing you. I mean, what a complete joke, what a scam, what a racket, but this is what we see across the board. And you see the same thing at Fox News. And especially these days. I mean, Donald Trump hasn't even been on the network for God knows how long. It seems as though they even refused to mention his name, the mainstream media across the board, whatever network it is, to maintain the status quo. And clearly, when we're talking about the status quo, Donald Trump and the America First agenda, this new conservative movement is just not invited to the party. The idea that Ana Navarro is a Republican, first of all, is a complete joke. I mean, an insult to my intelligence. She is a straight-up liberal, a straight-up Democrat, and she does not even in the slightest represent the conservative base. Neither does she even really challenge any of the narratives or any of the bogus claims or bogus stories that The View is constantly pushing on suburban moms every single week. And of course, the second conservative or Republican host who's officially joining The View on a full-time basis is Alyssa Farah Griffin, who happens to be a CNN political commentator. You see a trend here. Of course, only a certain type of conservative or Republican is allowed within these spaces. And Alyssa Farah Griffin also happens to be a devout anti-Trumper. Somebody who at one point did actually work in the Trump administration, but she recently came out publicly asking for forgiveness to atone for her sins for the terrible crime of working in the Trump administration. Alyssa Farah Griffin defends Trump White House past after getting grilled by Sunny Hostin on The View. Quote, "We all make mistakes. Everyone listen to this. There are people who think that people like me, people like Stephanie Grisham, people like Olivia Troy don't deserve to have a voice because we work for Donald Trump. I reject that. We are telling the truth now, we are telling it authentically, we are acknowledging what we did wrong. And I am grateful to those women and I stand with them. I stand with Cassidy Hutchinson. You know what, we all make mistakes, but I am glad those women are using them." Alright, folks, Alyssa Farah Griffin is a self-interested career opportunist trying to fill the shoes of Meghan McCain to benefit herself and no one else. The Vanity Fair and other major publications are posting stories about her faces everywhere as the mainstream media is claiming that she's trying to become the face of conservatism in the main media. Supposedly, according to the media, and according to The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin is your voice. I mean, what a joke once again. I mean, let's just take January 6th as the perfect example. Alyssa Farah Griffin on CNN promoting Cassidy Hutchinson as a brave warrior for democracy. You and Cassidy Hutchinson are close to you, have actually spoken to her. I knew nothing about her. I'd never seen her speak other than in the deposition. She was remarkably composed and credible. And I think her testimony will be very impactful. How is she doing? And then, everyone listen to this. She's doing great. She's in good spirits. I think the magnitude of the moment has certainly begun to dawn on her and how significant of a role she's playing in American history. She is somebody who I would have trusted in any scenario to keep their word to get a job done. But she's always been a behind-the-scenes player. So to see her front and center with millions and millions of people watching and to maintain such poise and confidence, doing what dozens of people twice her age, 3 times her age, are too terrified to do, refusing subpoenas, not showing up, was remarkable, as inspiring honestly, as a woman to watch. Okay, this is exactly what I mean by discrimination. There's no diversity, Real diversity is diversity of thought. But within the mainstream, the only people that are allowed at the table, the only people who get a voice are people who promote certain narratives, condemn others, people who condemn Donald Trump, and frankly, people that hate you and want to destroy you and slowly filter you out of the cultural space. That to me seems like straight up discrimination, the lack of representation, and I continue to make the point that the most discriminated against individual in modern day America is the Trump supporter, the person who doesn't get a voice, the person who is persecuted to the full extent of the law for minor nonviolent offenses by ideological courts and judges, the person who gets assaulted in the streets for wearing a red hat. And the mainstream media says, well, you deserve it, or just doesn't report on it at all. The people who get fired from their jobs if their political opinions or political stances and voting records are made public, but of course, none of it's surprising. It's been an uphill battle since the start. Now, of course, none of us ever expected the mainstream media that gives you a fair chance, but it's just yet again another glimpse into the mainstream media racket, the way they control things, manipulate discussions, and influence people by omitting narratives, purposely not educating the public on particular stories that debunk their narratives. Not giving a voice to the other side, just like we see with the January 6th sham hearing. Donald Trump doesn't get representation, Donald Trump doesn't get a defense. The entire panel is stacked against him. Mainstream media panels the exact same thing, and they parade these anti-Trump conservative outliers like Meghan McCain and Eamon Avero, and Alyssa Griffin has exactly that, conservative tokens, conservative puppets, in order to make it seem as if they're being fair. If the View is truly being fair and offering a voice to the other side, then someone like Candace Owens or Kayleigh McEnany wouldn't be brought on the show, not these know-nothing, absolutely irrelevant, hate opposition fake conservatives. Of course, the facts remain the same, folks. The mainstream media is straight up evil and manipulative. Not exactly breaking news. Not exactly surprising. Yet despite all their efforts, Donald Trump is still probably going to win and come back and take them all to task. It's a real David versus Goliath story now. Thank you for always watching and subscribing to the channel. Every channel subscribe,